turn mine down a little?
Orange.
Orange?
I don't see orange. I see red, blue, white, and brown.
Orange is across from Andy.
Oh, right. Here we are.
He wants him turned down.
A little bit.
There.
Hello?
There. There? Does that sound good?
No, I can't hear you now. It's this one here?
Mm-hmm.
Terry?
Yeah.
Okay, that's fine.
Not too loud. It's fine for me.
Okay.
How am I? Am I okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, Terry, how often do we do this?
I do this, what is it, Richard? Once every 5 weeks I get a program?
You seem to like it that way, yeah.
Yeah. We had Patrick, I don't know, a month ago. He had over 1,000 views.
It was good.
Patrick?
Yellow.
Oh, right.
Very interesting character.
He's an interesting character. I see him now and then, just like, moving about the city.
Really? Oh, that's good.
He's so nice.
We went out to lunch that one day, so it was an interesting conversation.
Lots of stories. Do we know when we're going to be live then?
Oh, yeah, I'll tell you.
Okay.
Well, technically you're live now, but the show hasn't started. So we call it the pre-show.
We're in the pre-show?
Yeah.
Every bit as popular as the pregame on the Super Bowl.
Oh, right.
Just so you know.
Imagine.
A lot of people actually, when the show starts, they turn it off because they like the pre-show better. So,
yeah.
Or halftime.
Yeah.
Whenever we have a Super Bowl party here, there are actually people who ignore the game and just come in the room for the commercials.
So is the baby crawling yet?
Yeah. He's moving around everywhere. He wants to walk.
Oh, okay.
He gets fussy, and then you just pick him up, and he wants to start walking like that. He wants to be mobile.
Oh.
Yeah, my grandson started walking last week. He was turned one, April 1st. So he was like, "It's time." A year and 2 weeks.
Yeah.
How old is Terry?
He'll be 1 year old April 30th. So we're starting to
Just get ready.
Frank, do you need the link?
Yes. Could you send it? I texted you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Does this save anywhere? Or is it just live?
Oh, yeah, we save it on YouTube indefinitely.
Oh, great.
Whereas Facebook is a little bit stingier. They just leave it up for 30 days.
So are you guys you're doing live feeds on your Facebook then?
No,
We're doing a live
I'm
feed on
sending it to
Facebook and a
friends.
live feed on YouTube.
Oh,
Yeah.
cool. Okay. We're doing it live.
Okay, let me know, Terry, when you and Frank have shared it with your friends.
Okay, I haven't gotten it yet.
People are ignoring the hockey game tonight, just so you know.
I
to
know.
watch
They're not
this.
tuning into Sabres game 2. Incredible comeback.
No,
on
I'll
the
tell you
tail
when I
end
get
of a
it.
Okay,
incredible
I'll send it
comeback
again.
story.
I'm sorry, I sent it the wrong name.
Richard, what's the countdown, you think?
Oh, I got to reset that. That'll show you how much time is left in the show.
Until the show?
Well, see, I'm going
Or in the show.
to do this. See, and then there'll be a countdown, and then you'll be officially on the air.
Well, thank you for coming. It's so nice to have you guys here. You
Yeah,
and Frank. Thank you, Frank.
This is
Okay,
fun. It's
are
nice.
you
Thanks,
are you
Mike.
both shared up now, Frank and
Yeah.
Terry?
Yes.
Yeah, I don't have it yet, but
Sent.
text, right, Richard?
Yeah, text
Yeah.
message. Right after your okay, thank you. Still haven't gotten it?
No.
Maybe Frank can figure out why your phone isn't showing it.
You got it, Frank? The link? Can you send it?
I'll send it to you.
as a cinematographer, do you have other cinematographers that inspire you?
I don't know. I don't really. I actually love watching really great, like beautifully filmed scenes. But
Yeah.
I think that's it. I don't really.
It's there, Terry. I sent it to you.
So, for example, Paolo Sorrentino, he just came out with a new movie called Grace.
Mm-hmm.
What a cinematographer he works with. Just amazing.
Yeah, I think like I think like there's so many levels to this industry,
Yeah.
and you it's really you become fortunate to work with like certain people and get to get some insight on their practice and the detail that goes into things, and I couldn't even imagine the scale that like when you're working on like a film that's got that kind of budget.
Oh, yeah. Are you familiar with the cinematographer Haskell Wexler?
That sounds familiar, but no. Honestly, I'm kind of like a. I don't want to say give that kind of credit, but I have like a very Buddhist approach to the filmmaking, like the visuals and things. I have like a certain taste, and then I just kind of go after it.
I can understand that.
Yeah, but I would like to. I love to. I mean, I love to watch people who are incredible at it. I think it's like in their work.
Well, Haskell's son said, "Dad, can I do a documentary on you?" And his father said, "Okay." You know what the first 10 minutes of the documentary is? The father lecturing the son. You don't have your camera in the right place. The light's coming in from the wrong direction. Open up that window behind me so we can get some backlight on me.
Yeah.
And the kid left it in smartly just to show his father's a real control freak.
Should I give you the phone number to text it to?
I did. No, I did. It's
That's so
there.
Didn't
fun. I
come
mean, I
yet.
think once you start doing it, then
Is your phone
I
on?
think
Yeah.
you just become obsessed with.
It's
like,
right
little
there. I
details of
just
it.
sent it to you.
I know. I don't understand what's wrong.
Do you have service?
Mm.
Guys, I'm gonna take 30 seconds to go to the troubleshoot.
See, if it, don't worry about it. I won't.
Did
I don't have to have it.
just click on my name, the F.
Side door.
There. Okay, and then right underneath there, I sent it to you.
All right, I got it now.
Where was it for the last 5 minutes?
It just popped up.
That's weird. Well, it was there. I knew I sent it to you.
Navigating technology can be quite frustrating.
It was up in the stars. So you have to be at your house at what time?
Well,
8:15, you said?
I'm going for 8:15. I'm gonna. She got there at 5:30. I'm just hoping that Terry is behaving and just kind of chilling out. She seemed pretty confident in her. She's like, "Give me 15 minutes with him," because he was like playing with her, and then he started kind of crying upstairs. I think he kind of like freaked out because he started realizing maybe she was the only one.
Okay.
But whatever.
Honey. Poor honey.
Yeah.
Andy, move your mic so it's about 4 fingers away from your mouth.
Thanks, Frank.
That's good.
Right there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, Terry's ready and Frank is ready, right?
Yes.
Frank, on that little box in front of you, there's buttons.
Yep.
See
Number
the one,
5?
the 5 with the circle around it?
Yep.
Press that and then watch the timer on the screen. And when it says on the air, you're on the air.
Hi, everybody, and welcome to Talk About Everything with Terry. And I'm so happy to be here, and I love being here, and I hope you all are enjoying this weather. Well, last week's weather was, 72 degrees. This week's a little colder, but let's say we want those Sabres to win tonight. My co-host, Frank Marshciello here. Say hi.
Hi.
Okay, that's Frank. And we are very honored and pleased to have a special guest with us tonight. Cinematographer, fantastic and well-known Andy Morin. And he's here to speak with us tonight about his career and all the good things that he does in his career. So let's start, first of all, with tell us about yourself, a little bit about your family.
Okay, I'm from Buffalo originally, Southtowns. We grew up in Colden, and went to school at Orchard Park. And I really wasn't interested in I didn't do a lot of photography when I was a kid. But I grew up on out in the country with my parents and my brother, and we were skateboarding. I did sports as a kid, soccer. We had family gatherings with my grandparents every weekend, where my mom would take us and visit our grandma Jean down in Boston, and my grandma Ines out in Clarence. And so yeah, that was kind of like my growing up. We just we were pretty imaginative out in the country. I had a lot of great friends that were creative, and we used to make skits and stuff when we were kids. But I never really got into photography until and camera stuff until I was later in my teens. And just kind of kept I think you go through kind of a confusing phase when you're 18 to 24. You don't really know what you're doing. And I tried to do business. I wasn't a very good scholar, and I wasn't very good at college. I dropped out of college, and I actually, I tried to apply. Actually, I tried to get into the UB media department, and they didn't let me in. So that's when I just gave up, and I was just like, what, I don't really need this anyway. I don't care. I'll just continue to pursue it. So I just kept doing that. I moved out to Utah after I dropped out of school, and my buddy was a pro snowboarder out there. And I didn't do a ton of filming, but I kept just continuing filming in action sports out there a little bit and just keep it going. And the technology kind of kept growing as I was getting older. It kept getting better, and then I just kept pursuing it.
Interesting.
Excuse me.
Okay. Yeah, Frank, you got a question over there.
Sure. Now, your studio, Avenir Cine, where'd you come up with that name? Because...
Well, Avenir Cine, it's a term. It means future cinema, which I thought was kind of cool. I just felt like it was positive and forward, and I wanted something that was just a little bit unique sounding. It's just we have French background, our family, and I want to just continue that and kind of kind of hold on to that little identity. But I like the idea of future. I like looking towards the future. I think I'm always moving towards it. I've been doing that in my career, my whole life. I kind of have a pace to myself, and I just keep getting better, and I keep investing, and I just felt like that was a kind of a word that resonated with the way my practice.
And how long have you been at your present location on Niagara Street?
2021, so it's been about 5 years, actually in June. So it's kind of crazy. I was just talking about this, how fast all that went, and just it was like an old machinist shop, and it just smelled like hell and all the stuff. And sometimes when I look back at it, I was like, I can't believe that we just started building that thing and tearing it out and renovating it. But we stuck with it, and I had a vision of how it was looking, and it's crazy because it actually looks like that. Now I remember I go down those stairs every single day, and before there was it wasn't open. It was this dungy room that you had to walk this weird hallway to get down the stairs. And I remember just every day I'd just look out and I'd be had a vision of how it was going to look. And now it looks like that, which it's pretty crazy.
It's an amazing piece of real estate there. The view you have is absolutely amazing there. You probably have the nicest view of
the Peace Bridge there?
The Peace Bridge that anybody has, and it's just so strange. You drive. I've driven down Niagara Street 1,000 times in my life and never really noticed that building.
Yeah.
Until I went to visit you the first time, and it was mind-blowing when you opened the door and I went in. And at that point, you were filming a kind of Muppet movie in there. Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, so that must be the Sunnyside Roadshow. And that's a really cool project that came in. This Gerard Hardick and his family, now it's a family-run production. But he had this idea for creating a series that was an emotional support series for kids. And he wanted to work with local schools to have it promoted in the morning. It's a morning show for kids. And he says he's gotten he had a really good response from it. He did some testing with it himself, and he wanted to pursue it in kind of a bigger level. So we worked on a bunch of episodes inside the studio, in the green screen. He brought this like old 50s Rambler in there. He
Oh, I
gutted it.
thought that was amazing. that
Yeah,
Rambler.
he gutted it and like had it in there, and like it worked perfectly. The Muppets and all the puppets were hilarious, and they're all like going on these different like road trips in it, and then they use that card like to talk about the different parts of the country that they go on road trips and like what happened historically, like some significance. So, yeah, that's super fun, and I love working with puppets. I think puppets are hilarious. I think when I was a kid, I used to watch like Fraggle Rock, and probably a bunch of other stuff that I can't think of right now. But I just think that the medium of puppets in entertainment is like just absolutely a blast.
Well, I don't know how. I guess I never really thought about it. I was like the Muppet movie was when I was in high school.
Yeah, Muppet movie.
And
Yeah.
I loved the Muppets and the Muppet Show.
Yeah.
I remember being in high school and every morning it was on, I believe it was on Tuesday nights. Every Wednesday morning, that's all everybody, we were in high school and we were talking about the Muppets. But it was cool because Elton John was on there. You just never knew. Debbie Harry, I remember from Blondie, was on there the one time.
Yeah.
And I'm like, wow, it's kind of cool being a Muppet there. But I
Yeah.
never really thought about what went into doing this. I actually always thought that kind of the Muppets or the puppets just moved their mouths and then the voiceover was added later. I didn't realize that the person that was actually doing
It's moving around with them.
was talking and doing that. I mean, that's
Yeah.
amazing that they were all dressed in black, laying on the floor inside the car.
Yeah.
It was the choreography between them, that they weren't bumping into each other
Yeah,
and
it's
doing
really
that
crazy.
was amazing.
Yeah, I think like a lot of the logistical troubleshooting we had when we first brought that production in was they were trying to understand how to be comfortable while operating the puppets. Like we kind of built a platform, we raised the entire stage and then had it like so the guys could be like standing, and it was just like a lot of like just these game of inches to try to get everything feeling correctly. And it looks like a lot of hard work. You have to have your arms straight up. And then you have to pretty much, you have to conceal like, the puppeteer, and they're working with like monitors down below to see like kind of get like an idea of like where they are in space. It's pretty cool. I mean,
no, it was an amazing choreography, and I think the episode I was there for was the Halloween one. They were talking about
Oh, yeah, that
how
was
to
awesome.
behave for Halloween,
Yeah.
and don't go in the street.
Yeah.
And then they had a little mystery, and but it was amazing to watch the choreography.
yeah.
I just thought that I don't know. I guess I never really thought about it. Maybe watching a Muppet movie or watching the Muppets, I actually thought the Muppets were alive and there were no people moving their hands in there.
Yeah.
My kids did when we were little. When they were little, I took them to Shays to see the Muppets.
Yeah, it's cool. There's some local puppeteers that are incredible. And they're pretty well known in the community. It's like Cameron Garrity,
Oh,
Adam Kruger, who passed recently. He's like one of the bigger puppeteers that had a huge following on YouTube. And I think that a guy named Zach, I can't remember, but there's the whole thing there. And I've worked with them on the 48-hour Film Fest a couple of years ago. We went to on 72-hour Film Fest. We got like viewer favorite or viewer whatever, and we ended up going to Portugal to accept the award for whatever viewer favorite or whatever that was. It was fun, but those guys are super talented. Anyway, so yeah, there's puppet stuff that goes on in there. We do like music videos, fashion stuff. There's a lot of kids that are into fashion and stuff like that. We use it as like a talking head, like interview space where we set a backdrop and like corporate commercial things.
everybody of all ages could enjoy it.
Yeah,
Right.
it does. It's got a lot of it's versatile, so it's cool. It's been fun.
Can you explain what a green screen is to the people that don't know what a green screen is?
It's just like a big green screen, and what it does is you key out the green, and it's important for whoever is in front of the green screen not to wear any green, because you key out that color, and then it creates like a transparent alpha channel behind them. I think that's what it's called, alpha channel, and you can create different backdrops. I'm not a huge fan of the green screen. I think it's very like
Fake.
Yeah, it can feel very fake very quickly, but that's what we use for that, and it worked out pretty well.
Yeah, when you have talking puppets, you don't want the background to be fake. 'Cause,
Yeah, I know. no one's believing these talking puppets. But puppets. I could talk for puppets for a little bit. I watched The Dark Crystal recently. It was like the modern version during COVID.
Oh,
It was really crazy. and the animations and like the puppeteers, I guess it was all like real like it was real. I mean, I couldn't believe it. They what was disappointing was I got all the way up to like pretty much the end of this show, Dark Crystal, and it's actually an incredible show, all the way to the end. And then like just I don't want to do any spoilers, but there's not much of a spoiler because they ran out of money and they didn't air the last season. So there's like no conclusion to it, which was really disappointing. But you should watch it up to that point. It was great. So.
Question: how have you used sound and light to enhance your project?
Sound and light. I think, well, I definitely use light all the time to enhance my product. I feel like that's like literally like the number one thing to, to focus on. I don't even, I feel like lighting is first. It's funny because I think there's like, like the evolution of like doing this is I always like kind of like talk about like the steps that like you kind of like you're like walking, like any kind of journey, and like you learning a skill trade or anything like that, you're always like kind of stepping into it slowly. And I think like the first thing you do as a cinematographer probably is like you understand like you're looking at composition. I think composition is probably the first thing everybody experiences as like a cinematographer. Like, oh, I like the way this looks right here, and then that's like your kind of like your base foundation, and then you start trickling in like little things that make a huge difference to the picture. Like then you have like a light. There's so the composition's there, the framing is there, and then there's like a light that comes in, and then maybe like more light, and then like movement and things like that. So but lighting is so important. It creates it creates like the whole entire mood for me usually. And I've gotten a lot better at it. It's something that I focused on. I feel like I kind of didn't want to pursue like lighting initially. Like I kind of was like, I knew I was going to have to at some point, but it felt difficult for me to understand. And one big leap I took was Fisher Price is like a local toy manufacturer in the area, and they work on sets there. And I started working there. They brought me on to do some of their demos, their web demos and stuff. And so I got like a ton of reps, a ton of hours into using lights there. And it's all like pretty much every light you bring in is doing work. You're not like focusing on natural light from the sun or anything. It's all whatever light you introduce is, talking to the picture. And I think that's where I got like a lot of my experience with lighting up to speed. You know what I mean? So that was like a healthier chapter.
Well, some of your lights recreated sunlight. I couldn't believe it when I saw you working with that a light could actually reproduce sunlight.
Yeah, there's like a lot of it's a really incredible time for lighting, especially because like some of the old school stuff is not as relevant anymore, and there were like these big heavy lights that were hot as hell, and like and I never really got to work with those much, but I remember I was like, I'm not doing that because it's such a huge thing. You have to get a van to move them around. But now they're building LED lights that are really strong and can do that kind of thing, and super convenient. They run on like pretty much household electrical lines and like 110 type stuff. So it's like, yeah, it's accessible, and it's you invest a little bit and you can get that for yourself.
So the cinematographer really has to work with the director. That's the person telling you what to do, right? Or do you tell, how much interaction is there?
Well,
do the directors look to you to say, maybe I should do it this way, or is it?
Yeah, I think like, it's kind of an interesting dynamic, and I have kind of a hot take on it in some regards, but like, you talk to your director, and you go for the scene, and then we talk about like you discuss it like, okay, this is it's a drama scene, like there's like a death somewhere, and like it's gonna be shadows. We're gonna like really lean into the shadows, or this is gonna be a bright scene, or like is there a distance here? Is there something we don't understand? Create some distance like through like shallow focus and things like that, or is there movement? Is it frantic? Like so that's a discussion that you'll always have with your director, because that's like something that needs to be communicated. And a director that's not talking about stuff like that is oftentimes like, I'll start like making suggestions, and then they'll be like yes or no, and then I'll start moving that way. But yeah, you always check in, but sometimes I'll take more control over like some of the camera stuff, but you always check in. So but the dynamic should always be shared. But it just depends. I don't know. You work with different people who have different experience levels. So somebody has like the director is usually pretty much like the top of the,
Food chain.
you're going to be like, okay, this is your vision. You're trying to create that. I oftentimes have conversations, like creative conversations. You don't really want to have them on set. You want to have them pre-production. But, if I have an opinion about the way that like something should look, I'd be like, well, maybe we should do it like that. You know what I mean? What
is the most interesting job you've ever had? In all your years.
In all my years, I've had a lot of really incredible moments. I'm blessed to.
Names a couple.
I was in India. That was really fun, and I was like traveling in this like temple called Hampi, and there were like
wow.
Actually no, there was Mongol, which is like this Tibetan refugee camp, and my parents contributed to it, like, and they wanted to check it out while I was in India, so they came to visit me in India. And we ended up going there and staying there. They invited us. We stayed in like their guest house, and I woke up to the I remember they were like, okay, so there's praying going on the next morning at like 5 o'clock in the morning. You have to get up, and so I'm like, okay, well, I'm gonna do it. And so at 5 o'clock in the morning, I start hearing the gongs go off, and then you'd hear like a cry, like out, like not like just like calling. And I remember getting up, and there was just like shadows, like kind of like moving through like the village like road, and they're all going towards the church. And I think it was also like a school for kids. I think it was like a kind of a mix. But I go there, and all these kids are praying on the steps at like 5 o'clock in the morning, and they're like, like town dogs, like hanging out, and they were just like all like getting ready to pray for the day and like going to school and stuff like that.
Wow,
that was really cool. And then I also got to experience them making bread as a community, and also like making pottery and stuff. So that was really fun. Otherwise, I've been out in the middle of mountains in Utah, which was like really incredible. Kids like jumping off jumps that are like 30 feet in the air and like coming down, like mountain air and sunshine. And then I was out in the desert, like in Mexicali, which was really cool too. I've been in Paris. We shot a film in Paris with my good friend. Yeah, I've had a lot of fun
stuff.
Here
you are in Bflo, New York.
Yeah, and here I'm Bflo. So yeah, I mean, I moved back to Bflo in 2018, and I just, I kind of locked down and just started kind of churning business here. My parents are getting a little bit older, so I want to, be able to spend time with them. And then I met my wife in 2020, and we have a baby now. And now I'm just, picking up little things here and there. I don't know. It's cool. It's like, I think I would love to do more like kind of like I don't know, sometimes I just like to like kind of like what I'm doing now too. Like I've had moments of like going out and like doing really incredible work. Like I was out in Colorado a couple years ago chasing this one kid who was trying to beat a world record for summoning all the 14ers. We chased him from like I can't remember the name of the town, and it was like southwest Colorado, Durango, all the way up to like Elizabeth. And so that was cool too, because there's these monsoons coming in. We're up there. There's lightning strikes everywhere. We're chasing this kid around. He's getting chased by bears. He can't stop moving, because he loses his time then. And this guy's just going. He ended up medically tapping out around like mountain number 32.
Oh my!
Because he was getting swelling in his feet, and he couldn't breathe anymore, and all this stuff. So that was my last like really incredible one. But I mean, like even building this studio's kind of been like an incredible adventure of like kind of all this cool things that challenge you and do stuff. So anyway, I've been blessed. I've had a lot of really incredible experiences through this work too, which is all the more the reason to love it.
Well, this is what you wanted. If you could look back and say, I would rather be somebody else or have done something else in my life, you happy with how you ended up being a cinematographer?
Yeah, I think it's something I always like.
Yeah,
I'm happy. I'm absolutely happy. It makes me proud to think that I've chased this and I've pursued it, because it was weird. I've had a couple different experiences as I was a kid that kind of like somehow like feel like we're like the stepping stones of like becoming this. Like I remember like the first time my dad had like a VHS, my dad would bring home like VHS camcorders for like, family events. He'd rent them or something like that. And I remember as a kid opening up the box and like seeing like the rental bag and like seeing the camera. And I remember I was like, wow, this thing is super cool. I still remember that vision of it. It's almost like kind of like weird that I still remember that out of so many other things. And then I remember being a kid, I don't know, it was a weird thought. I always wanted to like live 1,000 lives. I wanted to like experience a different, you know what I mean? And now I feel like I'm actually doing that through video because I get to experience all this really cool behind the scenes. I mean, it really gives you access to things like that you would never have business, being a time and place of. So
The original camcorders were like having a suitcase on your shoulder.
Yes.
And then they came out with the smaller tapes that you still had to put inside the VHS tape. And then if the battery died in that, you couldn't get it out. I remember doing all those things.
Yeah.
But I was an old man then. I wasn't a kid. But
I mean, the technology was so clumsy for so long, and then it really kind of leveled up in the 2000s and kind of appreciated just as I was getting older myself, which was, cool.
But if you think about it, how much that video camera, how much recorded stuff is out there now because of the video camera. And like us growing up, you didn't have... I remember being at my grandmother's house at Christmas time, and my cousin would come in with his 8mm camera that lasted maybe 2-3 minutes, and he had 10 lights that blasted you in the eye, and then you would watch the video or the film, and everybody's going like this because all the lights are in their eyes, and how poor the quality was, and then. Literally overnight, everybody had a camcorder and was videotaping life. I mean, it's amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, going back to our past guest, Patrick Gallo, who was here, watching the video he did with film from his mom that took video. It was amazing watching that, and funny because here's someone who didn't know anything about making a movie or anything, and she actually made an interesting movie. I mean, it was funny, and I just what an explosion that was when the video finally came, and the VCR, what that did for everything, it changed the whole world.
And now
basically.
people are making films
with their
phones.
Right.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, I mean, if you get like the right creative content and things like a lot, I mean, like you could do films a lot of ways. A lot there's challenges to filmmaking, like just aside from just the filming. I feel like just distribution and marketing is a whole nother. But I mean, it's worth it. It's an incredible feeling to go out there and be like making these films and seeing things come to life and working with other individuals that are as passionate about it as you are.
As a child, were you very visual? Were you drawing things, or did you have an imagination?
I had a lot of imagination. Like we'd come up with like scenarios. My friends and I would come up with scenarios, and like we'd be joking around all the time. I wish we had a high-8 camera, and I think we used to do like skits in like the basement. Or I used to skateboard all the time. We'd be making skateboard videos. It was
Nice.
fun. It was fun.
Great, interesting.
Yeah. So.
Now you've worked with the Bflo Bills.
Not particularly the Bflo Bills, but about a Bflo Bills documentary.
Okay, tell us a little bit about that.
So it's actually more based on the fans than the Bills, but the Bills are obviously like the engine. But it's a documentary that I worked on in 2024, and it's so funny to think it's almost like 2 years ago now. That was with Addison Henderson and Kevin Plowey. And Addison Henderson is a local filmmaker from Bflo, and he moved out to L.A. and he comes back every so often to. He's still super engaged in the community, and but they Addison they already had a DP that was Steve from I believe he was from Lebanon but also Ireland, and they were working with him on this initial first 20 days of this documentary that they were just going to make. And they asked me to come on as the second filmer because there was a lot of stuff going on. And the idea is it's like a Bflo Mafia, Bill's Mafia based documentary that I'm not sure if I'm allowed to say how much I'm allowed to say here, but I think I can kind of give the gist. It's based on the people whose lives are affected or kind of rally around the Bflo Bills and the entire culture of the Bills, from the whole feeling of community and the tailgating and like just what that team means and how it kind of brings people together, lives together, and like creates like a lot of. It's just very emotional for a lot of people. So yeah, I had the pleasure of working with them, and the documentary, I think, is like probably a lot of documentaries go kind of started taking different like spreading it to different channels, and I think it became like just a lot bigger, and I ended up working on it for like 100 days, I think, or maybe like less, but anyway, it was like, I mean, that's like a long time to be working on something, especially if it's like privately built with Kevin Addison and Clay. So that was super fun. I ended up meeting like all these legacy players. We ended up meeting all these. I ended up like traveling to like L.A., New York, Virginia Beach. We went down to Asheville, Backers, and this was after the hurricane showed up. I mean, these guys, we were working 5 days a week. It was like 12 to 17 hours a day. My wife was like pregnant, and she was like, being a really good sport about it. And but I couldn't. It was insane. We're always on the road. I mean,
So you were visiting different Buffalo Bills mafia locations around the country.
Yeah, like, well, yes, some of that, but also like we went to go interview like Marv Levy in Chicago. We met Bruce down in Virginia Beach. Went Stevie Johnson out in San Diego. And then I actually saw Fitzpatrick. We drove like to Fitzpatrick out in Arizona. I mean, we were on the road and hustling, and they were riding us big time hours. And it was just like, it was cool. I mean, you met so many people. It was just a whirlwind. And the Asheville thing, like I remember, like it was out of nowhere. We were like traveling, and then all of a sudden we're like, "Hey, we're gonna go down to Asheville, North Carolina." I'm like, "Okay, cool. Like we're gonna go see the Bills backers bars down there." And I had no idea that hurricane that ripped through North Carolina had taken such a toll on that town. So, and I'm so out of it just because every day working 12 hours, you can barely regain your composure the next morning. You're just simply on the road again and doing this stuff. And I remember, like, we got down there, and this place had been totally devastated. And this was almost a year out from when the hurricane gone through it, when the flooding. And there was still stuff everywhere. There was still, like, a camp set up from FEMA. And, like, so we go to the food camp first, and, like, people are in line. And I was still trying to get a grasp of what exactly was going on around me. But it was just like crazy because it's like you go and then we had like a concierge from the Bills Mafia bar down there take us around to different parts of town that had really been affected. And it had all been washed out by the river when it flooded. And she was describing like what happened. Like there were trees like going through people's houses and from the water and stuff like that. And it's just so anyway. But that was kind of like
sad.
It was incredibly sad. But it was just like the documentary was wild for just I don't know. It was just there was just constantly stuff like they were constantly uncovering stuff. I mean, looking back, I'm impressed that Kevin and Addison were able to just keep pulling content like that and like going and filming it. I did catch a sneak peek of the first episode. It looks really good, and I'm pretty critical. Yes, I'm pretty excited about it coming out. Yeah.
Oh, nice.
It should be coming out in August.
Have you done any work with the Sabres?
No, nothing too much. Sometimes I film like commercials inside the arena for like other companies that are like working partnerships with the Sabres, but nothing like, no. I would like to. I mean, honestly, I've been kind of unplugged from the Sabres for a little bit, unfortunately. I'll go ahead and admit that. It's I'm excited about their comeback. When I was a kid, we used to watch Sabres. My dad and I used to watch Sabres all the time. So they do mean something to me. I've had to unplug from the mediocrity, unfortunately. But like I said, I'm excited about them coming back. I'm excited to see the town. Everybody's wearing the Sabres jerseys today.
Isn't it wonderful?
Yeah, it's great.
Isn't it wonderful? What about the Bflo Film Festival? Are you involved with that?
I've had a couple films in the Bflo Film Festival, and then I work with John and Anna with their internship, so we do some of the video production for the event, like just coverage on the red carpet and stuff. So
Interesting.
yeah, it's nice. I actually really enjoy Biff. I think it's I love watching the films they choose. I think they do a really good job with it. I like how it's growing. They're starting to get like, Alec Baldwin's not like the most popular name, but I mean, still to have Alec Baldwin come to your festival, I think is something. And then they've got like a bunch of, I just like the films that they choose. They're doing a really great job vetting the stuff that gets in there. You just have to take the time to really go in there and sit down and watch it.
Yeah, well, there's hours upon hours, so you have to pick what day and what time.
Yeah. But they do the ones I have just like kind of like randomly like kind of dropped into are like honestly like really incredible independent filmmaking. And the importance of Biff is that, like, you know, so much stuff that you see on theaters is so mainstream and so big budgeted and kind of like rinsed of, like, you know, there are other great films, don't get me wrong, but like these independent films have a lot of raw emotion in them, and like there's like not a ton budget, but that means that there's different risks being taken because it's not as big of a budget, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know, I think it's cool to just check out independent filmmaking.
Yeah.
What about the Hallmark movies that are being filmed in Bflo? Have you worked on many of them?
I've worked on some of them, like, but not too often. I was like the B cam operator, and I think I've done some drone stuff for some of the holiday films. Did you guys get a chance to see the last one, the Bflo? What's the name of the film? It's like Touchdown. Something.
Oh, I saw
I
it.
saw it,
I
yes.
worked on it.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. So what'd you do there?
I didn't do it. Actually, I did the advertising for it.
Oh, okay.
But I actually like the intro to that movie, like where they drop into Bar Bill. I think it's fun. It's hilarious. And then you go inside the Bar Bill, and all the Bill's regulars, like, yeah, I think Kenny was in there, and like Elvis, and like a few others, and it's hilarious. But I like the Great American Films and Hallmark. I like them being in town because they're keeping money in people's pockets, and I think it's strengthening the culture and community. I mean, it's better than not having work here. I think it's great. I think it's wonderful. I think Bflo should be more of a hub for that kind of stuff, and not even like the cheesy romance stuff. I think Buffalo's a great landscape for edgier stuff and like other cool filmmaking. Mm-hmm. You know.
I was around when they were filming The Natural, and
Go back.
Actually, specifically when they were at Parkside Candy on Main Street, and they tried to make it, or they were attempting to make it look like it was Chicago, and they built a wooden trestle across Main Street to make it look like it was a subway or a train trestle. And I was just amazed how they. It was just amazing. And I remember I was maybe 10 feet away from Robert Redford. He was sitting outside on the concrete, just reading the script. And Glenn Close was sitting next to him, and no one knew who Glenn Close was then. She hadn't been. I think she was maybe in a couple of movies as a secondary actress, but watching it and the cameras and the screaming and the yelling back and forth, action, and then the choreography, getting the cars to go by at the right time as they were walking in, it just was fascinating to me. I probably sat there for 3 days. It was while I was in college, and I was going to Madai, and it was right down the street. So I just would they had it all blocked off. You couldn't get anywhere near it.
Yeah.
But I walked down there, and instead of going to class, I just sat there and watched it, and it was just fascinating. Yeah. And they had the big cameras like you see in the 1930s on booms, and they were moving, and just the whole thing was fascinating to me. And then obviously with seeing Robert Redford there, wow, that was amazing. Yeah. And then actually my wife, who was my girlfriend at the time, we were extras, and we were in the one scene with Darren McGavern, and we're right behind him when he's sitting in the stands, and you can see us for a split second. And I thought that was like the coolest thing ever. Cool. I was in a movie.
And I think it's hard to like describe the feeling back before like video became so like kind of like common, and that's why I tell people, when I talk about like beginning. Well, I think when I first when I first left college, wasn't, you either had to be part of a TV station or you had to be part of a film studio to really be involved in video. Like there wasn't really YouTube platforms. There weren't mediums to really even have this stuff available. So it was like, you had this weird narrow window, and you had to, it became very what would you call that? Selective. I don't know. It's competitive to try to do things like this, and the equipment was all just expensive if you wanted something really good. I don't know. It's crazy. Yeah, it's just gone. It's come a long way, and with accessibility, competition even becomes even greater, I guess. But I don't know. It's cool.
Yeah, I remember also when they were filming Hide in Plain Sight. Were you in that movie?
Yes.
Okay, I thought you were.
There's a car.
Okay, and they were filming on Grant Street,
Yes.
and they had an old Galaxy 500 car. It was a red car,
Yeah.
and they had all these cameras strapped on the front of it. And James Caan was driving the car, and the scene, it was supposed to be raining, and it wasn't raining. It had stopped raining. So they got the Bflo Fire Department was there with a
that's
fire
cool.
hose,
Yeah.
spraying water up in the air as they were driving down the street.
That's so funny.
And then if you watch the film, you could. I mean, I know it now because I was there watching it, but I was just a young kid then. And again, I was fascinated by the yelling back and forth and how they smoothly did that. And they had the big cameras. The cameramen were sitting on the bumpers of the car. They had the big chrome bumpers on that car and the huge cameras. And then they were driving down Grant Street, and they were moving people from side to side as they drove all the way down the street. And it was just, it was amazing to me. And then they were at the Ferry Herkimer Social Club there filming a wedding scene. And James Caan was walking out, and they had us way 100 yards away. And every time he walked out, everybody started screaming, and he waved to everybody. It was really cool. And I thought, man, that's what a job that would be to work in film and see these people. And then my goal was to get James Caan's autograph, and they were shooting on Breckenridge Street, and he walked out on the porch of the house, and he walked down, and I was on the corner of Breckenridge and Baines just standing there, and I was the only one. Everybody was down at the other end, and he walked down to Breckenridge and Baines and said, hi, son, to me. And I just looking at him, and I'm like, wow, this is really cool. And I asked him if he would sign. I had a piece of paper with a pen, and he said, sure. And they had all the old cars on the street, and it was really cool.
That's cool.
And that's when I got hooked. And I'm not involved in movies or anything like that, but that's when I started to really love movies and try to and think about how did they do this. And then Star Wars came out, and watching that, how just that's what hooked me. And then my dad said, oh, you got to watch the old movies. So I started watching old movies, and yeah, it's just so. I'm very jealous of your talent that you have there, that you can see that and make it happen and make that come to life like that. And going back to the puppets in your studio, that was absolutely amazing to me. I wish everybody should be able to watch that in action. It was so cool. And thank you for giving me the opportunity to see that, because it was just great. It was great. I loved it.
It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun.
What about period pieces? It's very difficult working on period
pieces?
Films. Yeah.
Yeah, I think we're kind of coming up to the challenge of that.
Yes.
Frank and I and you, we're gonna be working on that. Hopefully this summer. I mean,
Frank's piece.
Yeah, I think there's obviously the set decoration and wardrobe are a huge task, and then finding a lens that is a little more classic, I think would be my choice to film everything on.
Well, right now you're working on that. You are filming for Frank's book, Dress, Jeans, Disco, and Dating, and
yeah, we're putting together something called a proof of concept, which is pretty much like a trailer.
Yes.
And then we're gonna pitch that around town to see if we can raise some money to see if we can film it and let Frank talk about it. But it's a really incredible story about living life in the '70s in Bflo, New York, on the West Side, and a first person's experience and growing up and coming of age and having love and sports and just all stuff in the community.
Well, that's how we kind of all became friends over that. Terry contacted me one day. And she called me out of the blue and said, "Oh, I heard about your book, and I'm kind of interested in it. What can you tell me about it?" So I knew who Terry was because everyone knows Terry's the talking proud girl.
Yeah.
So I was like, wow. When I hung up the phone with you, Terry, I said, wow, I can't believe it. Somebody actually called me about the book, and then she asked me if I had written a screenplay, and I said, yes, I wrote a screenplay. I don't know if it's any good. I don't know. I have no training in writing a screenplay, but I had no training in writing a book either, but I gave it a shot. And I said, let's get together. And we started going through the screenplay. And Terry and I have mentioned this before. We had the same kindergarten teacher, and I thought that was... I mentioned in my book, Miss Sally,
funny.
and she said, Miss Sally was my kindergarten teacher too. And
Unbelievable.
yeah, I mean, and then she also grew up down the street from me. We didn't know each other, but she grew up, 2 blocks from where I grew up. So we had we kind of became instant friends as soon as we met, and we started talking about it, and then she told me about this Andy guy who she takes care of his plants.
Yeah, Terry's my plant lady.
Yes, she's the plant whisperer over at
She's
Morin
doing
Studios.
a great job. They've been neglected, and they pretty much are just like
They miss
look
me.
they look every time the door opens. They look
They
over
miss
and
me.
wonder if it's Terry or not.
Yeah.
Tell them soon.
Yeah.
Well, so and then that brought me to you when we. I distinctly remember when I met you, I thought, this kid's too young. He's not going to really understand the book. He's not going to, I don't think he's going to get it, but you did. And that was great.
Yeah.
When I came back after giving you the book to read, and you got the nuances. You understood exactly where I was, why I wrote it, and what I was actually writing about. And I was very impressed that you got it.
Yeah, I think I could see a lot of it right off the page. I was getting visuals for it and everything. So
right, because before you even saw the screenplay, you already were telling me about this scene. This is how you should do this, and I was like, wow, he's. I'm kind of a visual person, and you obviously are a visual person too. So
yeah, it's cool. I hope I want to keep going with it. I think it'd be an amazing story, and I think I like the idea of like telling that story about Bflo in that time too. Like I think it's important, as long as it's like a fun time and everybody's in my as a person. I was a child of the '80s, and then like the '70s are still there, like just behind me, and you weren't. It's funny when you weren't born in that decade, but like you hear about it or like you kind of like live through
You feel
it. Of
connected.
Your children,
You
you
can
feel
still
connected to
connect
it, yeah, as a child because it's still pretty present.
Yeah.
well, it was a totally different world. I mean, just
Really was.
seeing Saturday Night Fever. What people talk about, when they saw the Beatles on Ed Sullivan the first time, and then like that was people who are 10 or 12 years older than me, and then the people that are my age say, yeah, the first time I saw Saturday Night Fever, what was that? I mean, it was it's kind of it separates people, but it also brings them together, because I can talk about the Beatles, but not the way the people that were there. But I can talk about the 70s because I was there. I mean, I lived it. I saw it. And I just think it was the best time to grow up. And that's why I wrote the book. I wanted to talk about that. And people, I run into people and they say, "Oh, I read your book, and I can't believe how much you remembered and how you painted a picture."
Yeah.
And that's what you said when we talked the first time, that I had painted a picture, and you understood it. I knew it. That just based on the things you said that you thought were good from the book, I said that this guy, I didn't really know you that well then. I said, this guy gets it. He understands what the book was about. And then, of course, after I gave you the screenplay and we started talking, all three of us, what are we going to do? And I remember when you said, can you write the trailer? And I wrote it in like 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Just because it was in my head already. And then you liked it. And it's been an amazing experience watching you bring it to life.
Yeah, that's fun. We did a lot of. I was looking at the moment in the hallway with the kids coming to the prom or the
dance.
Just
Yeah,
thinking of that. I was
Yeah.
yeah. It looks so cool. It's gonna be cool. It just needs we got a little legwork to get it moving. So it's fun. But I think Frank's really great at. I think for me, I always talk about like kind of transcending a feeling. Like you try to convey a feeling. And it's hard to do that. It's hard to really for people to interpret a feeling from like what you create. Like you want to try to make sure that they understand that feeling. And I think you've done that pretty well with the book. And I think you'd be a good, director in regards to like making sure that moments are happening the way you feel like they're.
Well, I don't know if I would
correctly.
be a director, but I definitely would be the person that sees the little things that really want to make the scene look real.
Okay.
I'm not going to take that on just yet, but so if if I can talk about one experience when we did the film or when we filmed the scene where it was at the party where Nick sees Stephanie for the first time. It was surreal standing in the driveway there. Terry was there also. She added the little, like, Terry walked on the set and said, she was going and rustling around and changing stuff on the tables because we were supposed to have it look like it was an 8th grade graduation party in 1976. And Terry was looking at all the things that had been brought for props, and she didn't like the way this did. And she has the ability to walk and turn something this much, and then all of a sudden it looks right. And she did it. And I was standing there, and I'm like, I felt like I was actually, again, in my aunt's driveway 50 years ago, looking at it, and the bicentennial flag we put up was cool because it was 1976. But the best thing was when the kids started showing up, both the actors and the extras, and they were all so excited about it and wanted to talk about it, and they wanted to know about the 70s, and they, it was just great, and the way you set it up and filmed it, and as I was watching on the monitors, I said, "Oh my God!" I at one point I walked out in front and said, "Man, this is weird. I lived it. I wrote about it, and now I'm watching it again happen right in front of my eyes." And it was, and the kids were. I've realized over the years, being a teacher, that kids are kids. Kids don't change. Maybe what they like changes, but a kid is a kid.
Yeah.
And those kids standing in the driveway, they were so excited, and they wanted to look like they were in the 70s, and it was a great experience. And the way you filmed it, how you moved the cameras, and you had the lights and the sound. It was just, again, this whole thing is fascinating to me. I don't know if I thought at one point, like, movies just happen, and how you never really think about the actors and what goes in behind the scenes to make it real, and you did an unbelievable job on that scene. And you also did an unbelievable job when we filmed at St. Joe's. That was supposed to look like a high school dance, the first high school dance that Nick, the main character, went to. And just, you set it up, and we had moms who were parents of the kids that were in the shots helping us, and everybody pitched in, and it just looked so cool. And again, I was like, wow. We're going to do this. We're going to get this done. That trailer's going to get finished.
Yeah.
And we're going to get it. I actually wrote an email to the lead singer of the band Starbuck. Moonlight Feels Right. And I got an email back from him today, and he said we could use the song in the movie, and he wouldn't charge us for it.
Good.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So
that's cool. So that's what I like about you. You take chances and you go after stuff like that. I think that's like
Yeah,
a really
50-50 shot.
it's a really important part of the whole thing is like going after like what you just did right there. Like you don't some people wouldn't even be in, like.
No, I
think
just
that's
thought
even a
about
reality.
how much I mean everybody knows that song, everybody loves that song. I mean it's just you hear the first few notes of that song and it's 1976 again. I mean it's amazing, but yeah. So that's the surprise I was going to give you guys today. So
Cool.
we can use "Moonlight Feels Right" in the
That's a
movie.
nice
So
surprise.
because we're going to have to get a lot. I want to use as much of the disco music as possible, and Andy and I have talked about the licensing fees for that and everything, but we'll get it done.
Yeah, let's
so.
get it done. When we've talked about Terry, have you talked about your Bflo Talking Proud?
Yes.
He on this show at all?
Not really.
No,
No. It's just-
not just bits.
What was your? We actually just showed somebody the video today. One of the guys I was working with in the grip department, Aaron, and he's like, I'm like, do you know Terry Licata, Terry Brostein? And he's like, no. I'm like, okay, well, I'm doing the podcast later. He's like, she was like really kind of like this incredible Bflo Talking Proud video that was really famous back in like the 1980,
80, 81,
81.
almost 82.
And then I showed him, and he's like, wow, this is really fun. Like it just was like.
Is he from Bflo?
He's
No.
from Bflo, yeah.
Did he remember? Well, he's probably too young.
He's in his 20s.
All right,
I don't
we
think-
won't go there. We won't go there.
But anyway, what was your experience like? Because I was actually watching it today. There were some crash zooms. There was like a lot of different locations there, and like
Oh, a
some really
lot.
funny nods to like just like move the video along. What was your experience like on that?
We filmed it in 2 days. The first day was at the Blossom Shop
Okay.
on the corner of Bryant and Elmwood. It's
Yep.
not there anymore. But it was the Blossom Shop, and then we filmed at the Adams Mark.
Mm-hmm.
We did a scene, the one where I come out of the plants and I'm doing the Talking Proud walk with people sitting at tables drinking and eating.
Yeah.
And then down in front of City Hall.
Do you think your followers of the show know? Have they watched that before? You think that's something that maybe we should send a link out for?
I think we should bring it back.
I mean, we
I
actually
can't tell you the people that say bring it back.
And
And you've got them. You got the commercials.
right.
Just bring them back.
I was just talking with somebody that, and I think maybe I was talking with you initially, but I was like, I would love to make a modern day version of this, but the same camera motions, but Bflo in like this now it's modern state with maybe almost the exact
Same
locations.
locations in that.
Yeah, if they were
Johnson Park.
agreeable
That
enough.
was another
Yeah.
one
Yep.
where the painters were painting the house.
So funny. There was like crash zooms and like people like come on, let's go like type stuff. It's like really classic video. I think it might be like one of the more classic videos of Bflo of all time, probably.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I would think so.
Yeah.
Well, Terry's also worked with some amazing people, Bette Midler and the Rose, right?
Yes, many years ago.
Raging Bull.
Yes.
That's pretty cool.
And you were kind of involved in Saturday Night Fever?
Yes,
or
I was a dancer.
a dancer in Saturday Night Fever,
Yes.
and that's...
in my heyday.
She's really the queen of Bflo film, as far as I'm concerned. There's
know.
nobody that's done more than her in Bflo.
But if you get back to bringing back the Talking Proud commercials, which was really a lot of different people that are in that scene with them walking down the street and that in front of City Hall,
Yeah.
Mr. and Mrs. Schutte were in there. Alan Schutte, who directed it, wrote it, and produced it. His mom and dad were in there, and you see them in there, and it's just so precious
Yeah.
to look at them, and they were all a part of it.
Yeah, it's fun.
I want to bring it back. Just bring back the old originals commercials. People will go crazy.
I was actually yesterday or Sunday thinking of when they were doing the introduction at the Sabres game, whether they were going to throw that in there.
Oh.
I thought that would have been a great thing to put that in there, because that would have gotten everybody going even more than the Goo Goo Dolls would have. At least for a split second, I would have thought they were going to throw that in there.
Yeah, I don't think enough people really know about it. I think it's just like
It's time to reintroduce it.
It needs to be dusted off and
I'm surprised the people that do know about it, people that are younger than you would think that would know about it, and it's a catchy tune. When I was doing it, we were performing it during all the hockey games. The Buffalo Bills, they'd sing it constantly for the Sabres.
Yeah.
The Sabres, the Bills. I even got to ride on an elephant behind Mayor Griffin. He was on the front elephant, and I was in the elephant behind him.
Elephants roaming through Buffalo.
In a parade. In a parade.
That's so crazy.
We don't want the PETA people going after her, do we? No, we can't do that to her.
Yeah. Yeah, Buffalo. I actually really enjoy. I think the Buffalo filmmaking community is really getting a lot. Everybody's getting a lot better. There's a lot of like small little like groups that are doing film, like budding like groups of filmmakers that are all working together and kind of coming up. And it's cool to watch because that's the biggest thing is like the talent. And I'm not saying I'm like the most. There's so many talented cinematographers. There's so many talented cinematographers in town. But some of the stuff that really separated Buffalo from like New York City and LA, they still bring people in from New York City, LA, and like different markets. But it's nice to see people who are like just getting better at their craft around here through like repetition and like just like work that keeps coming in and age, and having them be like these like mentors of the skill and teaching those around them and younger than them keeps strengthening like the whole
Well, we have so many amazing locales, like the Central Terminal. You could film 500 movies in there, and it would look amazing in every movie.
Yeah. And you would have, and this is one thing I always say about Buffalo is that, not to mention it has like great locations like that, but the city of Buffalo is really, I don't know how I would say this. They're very inviting when it comes to access to locations.
I've heard that.
Like everybody opens their door to you here. I think it's incredible. I think that's like so important because like they'll be like, like it's just, and not sometimes you'll get it for free. Like, but people open the door, be like, yeah, we want to film something for, an hour or two, and like to be like, okay, well, if you're not bothering anybody, like go ahead. Like, do your thing. Like, that's incredible. I've lived in other markets where you can't ask people to do stuff like that. Like, if you live in a bigger market, they're gonna be like, no, like, come back, talk to the owner, pay money, pay $750 a day, $1,200 a day, stuff like that. So, also, like, I've been hanging out at cars around town, like, filming stuff, and police will just be like, like, give you the way versus like
that's nice.
Yeah, like what I mean. So it's like
Buffalo for you.
Yeah, really, I really think the foundation of the community is built for filmmaking. I think there's like a genuine interest and like genuine like enthusiasm in the community. I think it's a film town. I think it just kind of needs a little. I don't know.
Are you interested in getting any apprentices at one point to work with you, to train some young people that are interested in becoming the next Andy Morin?
I don't know. I feel like I've tried to do the internship thing, and I feel like it's that I don't know, the rhythm of my like life doesn't really work that way. I'm not sure how to explain it. I don't know. I do have pretty consistent work now, but I don't know. It's either budget or whatever's going on. I'm the family now, so I'm like constantly just like running around. But maybe an intern or an apprentice would be great.
Somebody to follow in your footsteps,
Yeah, I was just talking about this today. We were working at like a corporation. I'm like, I don't know if I could ever like really. I think I'm like the freelance lifestyle is kind of like embedded in me now. I'm like kind of like got my own pace doing things, but it's cool. Yeah, I mean, if people, excuse me, I'm always up for teaching people like on site things or little tricks of the trade. I think that's important too. I think it's like part of being a leader on some of these sets are like And I know a lot of people that do this, but they're like, if you're not doing something, and I don't do everything up to code, but if you're not doing something correctly, like with like grip and electric or like, cinematography and things like that, people will, be like, nice enough to just correct you or lend some advice or something like that.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Well, we're running slowly out of time, so I'd like to, thank you for joining Frank and I on our little podcast here. And Frank, do you have any final words for?
I just want to thank Andy for all the help he's given us with our project for the movie, and let's keep this moving forward. And we definitely will be working in the next few weeks, get it wrapped up, and and we'll get you back once that's done, and we'll show it,
start to
and
talk about
we'll
it.
start talking about it. So
Definitely, we'll show it up on the show probably.
Sure, yeah.
The trailer.
Yeah, well, thanks for having me on. I didn't really know what to think about. I haven't really been on a podcast before, so this is my first time ever.
Thank you for joining us.
Yeah, appreciate the invitation.
thanks.
Okay. Do you say goodbye to all the folks out there?
Bye, guys. See you next time.
See you next time.
Goodbye.